We're going to start now a new subject, which is the next simon after of boirer, is schieters, squeezing out lemons, squeezing out grapes, olives, oranges, all these things. What is the halacha regarding doing that on Shabbos? Now, the Shulchan says like this. Zaisen vanovim, the psak haluch in the Shulchan Aruch is Zaisen vanovim, olives and grapes, osel sochta. It's not permitted to squeeze. The next halach is v'myotzi me atzmom. If it came out, the liquid which came out by itself on Shabbos, you have a plate with grapes and grape juice, or the liquid is coming out on Shabbos. It's osir to drink. That's called gzairis mashkin shazuvi. Mashkin, which came out by itself, Chazal asked because they were afraid, if we're going to let you drink that mashka, you're going to squeeze it out too. So therefore it's awesome. Even it's only made for achila. That means you bought the grapes to eat. Even though it's made for achila, if you squeeze it, it's a isur daraisa, and it's also to drink. And that mashka. That is Zaisen vanuvim. But when we come to tutim v'remoinim, tutim v'remoinim means tutim means blueberries or strawberries. Which once a time looks like that was the minik they used to make of their juice, or remoinim pomegranate, which is still in our day such a minik. This is also, it's osir. It's not also a toire. It's not a daraisa de geisir. It's only a drabon de geisir. But it's still osir. But mashkem shizuvi, if it came out, you have a pomegranate and water, liquid, came out from the grape, from the pomegranate, you could drink it on Shabbos because you didn't do it. But that's only if the pomegranate is made, you brought it in, you bought it, so to speak, for eating. And then, if water came out, the juice came out, it's fine. But if you took it, you brought it because you want to make juice, then is mashkan shazuvi also osir, even if it went out for itself. So again, what is the difference between the draisa and the drabonan? We will see soon, hemish chazman, noch chalikim, but what is the Shulchan tells us, what is the chalikim between isa draisa, isa drabonan? It is, if mashkim shizuvi. Both of them are osir. One is osir manatoir, one is osir midrabonan. But it is, the chilik is mashkim shizuvi my atzmon. If it came out the liquid from itself, and it's made for achila, you brought it in for achila, then there's a chilik between tutim v'remoinim. That means things which is decided to squeeze, most of the fruit is to squeeze, or not, and that is the chilik between tutim v'remoinim and zaisen vanum. Again, zaisen vanum is olives and grapes, and tutim v'remoinim is berries and a pomegranate. Now, we'll get. So, basically, it is the Gemara. The Gemara zoogt war teure eine chayev. The Gemara mesech the Shabbos war teure eine chayev. Elo al schiete zaisen v'remoinim belvat. V'lo al schiete shar peiris. The Gemara says clear, all other peiris, menatoire, it's not a problem. So menatoire, you can take a pomegranate, squeeze it out, and drink it in Shabbos. You can take an orange, squeeze it. Well, we'll see about the oranges, but you can take a kiwi, squeeze it, drink it, menatoire. Chazalim ga'aseb, because after bekan, it is a thing which people are doing, so therefore it's still awesome. What is the reason of the chilik of zaisen vanuvim, grapes and olives, and other things? What is the chilik? So we have in the Rishonim a couple of ways how to learn the subject, and it's in the Gai Lalucha how to learn it. The Rashba writes that the reason why zaisen vanuvim is chayev, because most of the zaisen vanuvim is made for squeezing. Grapes is most of them made for squeezing. Most of olives are made for squeezing, and therefore that's why it's awesome in a Torah. Other peiros, since ruba, the rough peiros is made for eating, not made for squeezing, so that's not a problem. But even though we now have a person which wants to squeeze it. Now we have over here now a person who wants to squeeze pomegranates. Yeah? So why is it okay? I put him in a Torah. Sof kol sof, it is, I'm squeezing. Schitas, pyrus, you take out, let me start a minute before. What is the problem of schita? Schitas, pyrus, what is the problem? Schitas, pyrus is a problem of dosh. Dosh is, you're taking out, you're squeezing out a milk which comes from a food. That is the problem. So schita is a problem if you take out any milk, any liquid which comes out from a salad, from an oichel, you make a mashke, that's schita. It's schita min haTorah. Therefore, one of the reasons which is a problem of dosh, isa d'raisa, is milking a cow. Milking a cow in Shabbos is isa d'raisa. Why? Because before it's a machel, it is an animal. Now it's using milk, you're making a mashke from a machel. That's the concept of the problem of schita. So now begs the question, what is the difference in Torah if it is pomegranates, that is mitem in Torah, or when it is grapes? You're taking a mashke from a oichel. What's the difference? So says the Rashba and the Rosh, says that the reason is when you squeeze tutem v'remoinim, which is not the side that you should squeeze, it's made for eating. Most of them are lachila. The mashke which comes out is also oichel. It's not a mashke. It is a oichel. Since it's not made to squeeze, so therefore it's a mashke. It's a oichel. So therefore it's a oichel me oichel. When a zaysim vanuvim, which since the way to eat zaysim vanuvim, most of them ribo is because you want to squeeze it. So therefore the liquid which comes out, the juice come out, is a juice. Is a mashke. So taking out the mashke from oichel, that's considered schita. But if the main pyre is made for achila, although you squeeze it, it's still oichel. Because it's made for achila, and therefore oichel ma'oichel in the shukhan isa d'raisa. Can be an isa d'rabuna there is, but it's not an isa d'raisa because it's not considered a mashke, it's considered the oichel.
So Jews are just isa d'raisa nowadays.
We didn't get it. Yeah.
Is that why also it's not shiva, the shiva mashke?
Why?
Fruit juice is not from the shiva mashke.
We're going to get to this also. All of this we're going to address. One of the reasons we're going to see it here. So again, this is the reason which the Rashba and the Rosh gives this explanation. Rasha gives a little bit of different explanation, and I'm going to say it how the Rabbi Yeshai explains it. What Rasha says like this. Why are you chai v'zaysim v'nuvim in aran shar peiris? Ki sharach schitas lav orche behucha. It's not the way of it. So b'pashas, you don't have a clarity. What does it mean? What do you mean lav orche behucha? So we could basically say it's the same as the Rashba and the Rosh. But if you see Rabbi Yeshaya, he says a difference. He says that since it's not the way you don't squeeze it, this is not a thing which uses the squeeze. By squeezing it, that's a shini. So therefore, minatoira, we know any malacha which you make minatoira, and which is also minatoira, and you make a shini by doing the malacha, automatically it's not also minatoira, it's not a drabonon. So therefore, the Rabbi Yeshai, which in this is what explains Rasha also, that basically the reason why schitas zaysim vanuvim is osir, because that's the side. That's the way how to do it. Masha Einke b'shaz when you squeeze things which is not decided. Ein lach shini gudel mezeh. This is the Rosh Rabbi Yeshaya. Ein lach shini gudel mezeh. You do something which is not the norm. So since you do not the norm, it's a bit interesting svure gedank. Aber the svure gedank is that itself is a shini. Since this is not, that means a shini. What is the chiddush? The chiddush is over here. Shini is not necessarily mean that you do the malacha, you do change in the malacha. Shini means in the same malacha which we do, but in a thing which we don't do. It's not normal to do it in the mean is auch nicht kan reise. Where do we see this concept? Where still we see this concept? But the halacha is that chayes v'haimas shedarkan, the darken is litzoid. That's the side. This is the thing which you how do you say fang? You trap. Then it's usim an Torah al side. But there are animals which is not the norm. Somebody traps a thing which is not the norm to trap. So therefore, in such a case, it's nicht kein Isser von Zeide. Although you do the same pillar as that one, so you don't change in the Maisa pillar of the Zach, you only change in the mean. Since this mean is not a normal thing to do, that's already like a Shini Menatoire, and that's not it's not Isser Menatoire. So this is the same concept that by Nishai says like Schiita. Anything which is the norm to squeeze, that's Schiita Menatoire. Anything which soichet, you squeeze, and that's not the norm, that's a Shini. Eigentlich Shini gut mazeh, and therefore it's not Menaraisa, it's only Midrabunan. So according to these two shittas which you just said, the Rashba and the Rosh, and also Rashi Rabbi Nishaya, it comes out that this whole thing, the Nekid Sadurim is, what is the norm and what is not the norm. If it is the norm to squeeze, so then it's Usman HaTorah. If it's not the norm to squeeze, so then it's not Usman HaTorah. So let's go in our times, in our lives, when if you could do it later. This part you could do it later. This text strikes me. So according to these two reasons what we just said, it depends what is the Metzias. Now in our times, nobody squeezes strawberries. Nobody squeezes blueberries to make it a drink. I would say maybe there is bodadim, a health box, but most of the people are not doing it. So according to this, Akapurim Dreises is es nicht. Olives is still Dominic. Anovim is still Dominic, so that's a Dreise. But anything which is not Dominic, it's not a problem. So although, let's say, once it was Dominic, if let's say for today's day nobody's going to squeeze grapes, the time of the prohibition, nobody squeezes grapes, no alcohol is allowed. So then it's just kind of Dreise. So let's take in our chance when we have an orange juice, which orange juice basically is a thing which in our time it's squeezed. Ribbe de oilem are drinking orange juice. It is a thing which you are squeezing it. So according to these two reasons what we just mentioned, again, what is the reason? One, because it's a sheni because people do not do it, Rashi Rabbi Nishaya, or the reason which the Rosh and the Rashba says is because it's not called a mashka, because it's not made to make a mashka. So orange juice in our time, which everybody squeezes, it's a normal thing, and not necessarily everybody has to squeeze it. Everybody drinks it. It's a mashka which everybody drinks it. It's not an Isser D'Oraisa to squeeze. It's not an Isser D'Oraisa. The squeezing orange, today's day, will be Isser D'Oraisa. Because that's the norm. And it will go around all the things which is the norm, which Ribbe will go to what does it mean, Ribbe, how many people. But we'll get to that, how many people, but what? Lemons. We'll get in the Simon, there's an extra receipt in the Loch, like Avalamos, we'll get to these things. So therefore, in such a case, I want to get to the first thing, that oranges in such a case, it will be a problem. Somebody's going to say, oranges, depends which oranges you squeeze. There are oranges which are Jewish oranges, this you squeeze. You have oranges which is made for eat. So therefore, depends. If you're going to squeeze a regular orange, it's not going to be a dry. If you're going to squeeze an orange, it doesn't work like that. Oib oranges is basically a thing which you squeeze. It's no different. I'm going to give you a very simple reason. How do we know this? Like in grapes. From which wine do you make grapes? You don't make grapes from regular. There's table grapes. There's grapes made for wine. Table grapes, you mag sie essen. The wine grapes, you cannot eat. You can eat, but it's not.
Where do you decide what's an orange? What's a tangerine is an orange or not?
Yeah.
You can go on and on and say
tangerines are a different mean of oranges. They're a different mean of oranges. It's a different mean. Why should we say mean? Because the orange. And nobody squeezes tangerine juice.
But I can say that this kind of orange is
oranges. Maybe you can say Sonkers, Florida oranges is also Manatoira. California oranges, not also. What they mean is a mean which people squeeze. Then all they mean is also.
What's a mean?
Grapes is all the grapes the same mean. Oranges is all the oranges the same mean.
Maybe a tangerine is also an orange.
No, a tangerine is. Why is it the same?
Citrus, it's not an orange.
It's not orange. It's not the same mean. Why is it not? Because it's the color orange. It's a different orange. It's a different, what?
Grapefruit or...
Well, okay, grapefruit. Grapefruit is something different. We'll get to the grape again. Aber
Most people eat
Well, again, alle gite Sachen will get, everything is going to be, I'm getting my hallekut. I want to build this up first. So first of all, we have to understand, it has nothing to do, these orange is a thing which people are squeezing, so therefore it is a problem. It's not nothing to do there, oranges, because again, grapes is also, maybe we're going to say squeezing grapes, which I eat, table grapes is mitter, I can put them in another bonen, and day grapes is odraisa. The grapes is grapes, and you're not making a chilik.
Yeah, is a bracha agafen. If you squeeze a grape, it's not the mino in this chat, you make a agafen under a mashke. If you would squeeze 2 table grapes, you would make a bracha by the agafen.
Of course, you make a bracha.
So there's opposite.
Yeah. Now, somebody could think and say that safkasov, why is the deraisa squeezing an orange or squeezing grapes? I'm doing it with my hands. Why is it the deraisa? Safkasov, in the so to speak, a sheni. How do you squeeze grapes when you make wine? They have crushes. There's a special. How do you make an orange? Let me run from verkeerd. Person is going to say, if I squeeze an orange, what's the big deal? You know, of course they squeeze orange. They have Tropicano has big companies which make orange juice, so that's a problem. But if I squeeze it with my hands, that should be a shini. But again, this is also not true. Ich will not push all the angles before we get water. That's not true either. Because again, when you hakle moedem shechanorach, as a person takes a grape and squeezes this, is a deraisa. Now, grapes was also squeezed in special places. You know, gat. What is it called? How do you say?
Wine press.
A wine press. And olives, they had presses, special olives. So we're going to say, no, if I squeeze this olive, that's okay, because it's shashini. If you squeeze it in a company, that's a problem. Doesn't work like that. This is a mean, which is, riba de oirum are squeezing it, so therefore, wherever you're going to do it, even you're going to squeeze it with your hands, that is the side of their squeezing, and therefore is a isedrai. So let me just sum it up. Squeezing a grape, taking even one grape, squeezing it out, or taking an olive and squeezing it out, or taking an orange and squeezing it out, is a problem, but Pashas according to these two pshutim. But I want to get to a third reason why.
Everything else we say, I can't leave the beggars, beyond, it's okay.
Exactly. Why is it? Then the kid said, although we see Baboirer, Sachilik, the reason is, by now we should know this. Why is the reason Boirer Beyad is mitter? Why is the reason Boirer Beyad is mitter? Do you remember why we said? Why is it with the Keili is the Reise and Boirer Beyad is mitter? So one of the reasons what we said is that's der Chachila. That's der Chachila. Because Breire, Beschaßen Essen, that's der Chachila. But squeezing, over here, is nicht Chachilik, but eating squeezing is a problem. So dort nicht nur Chachilik zwischen Yad und nicht Yad, es ist nicht kein der Chachila. The squeezing is nicht der Chachila. Oh, you always squeeze before. If you squeeze b'shas achila, you might have a different halacha, in the mouth. But I will get to that. I don't want to. So the answer to your question is, why is it anders than boirer? Because boirer bayad is der Chachila. In Chazal am gezut, what do you want? You're allowed to eat. But anytime squeezing is nicht der Chachila, because this always you do beforehand. So therefore, it is a problem, and even with hand, it is a problem. Now again, I said this is the reason of the Rishonim give why it is a problem of boirer, and therefore it will be a problem for all other fruits which riba oilam will eat. Again, we're going to get to what is mean riba oilam, but there's another reason which the Pri Megudim writes, and basically he wants to base it on one of the Rishonim on the Ran. The Ran says like this. I'll give a quote delusion. Eine chayev elu al dricha zaysa v'rum milvad. You're not chayev only on grapes and olives. Aval shar peiras, other peiras, hayoytze mehem lechushiv mashka. So now the Ran says hayoytze mehem lechushiv mashka. What does that mean? Come as a Pri Megudim, Malens Pshat, it means we know in Hilchas Tima v'Tahara there is 7 kinds of mashkim. We know that any pyre which was not michshel kabel tima, what is michshel kabel tima? There was no one of the 7 mashkas came on that pyre. Although a dead frog touched the apple, it doesn't become tumah. Because first it has to Chita Mama al Zera Pasha Shmini. So it has to first come that it has to get wet from the mashkem. What mashkem? Steht in the Mishnah 7 mashkem. It's the abbreviation Yat Shucha Dam. Yayin, Dvash, Shemen, Chulav, Tes is Tal, Yat Shucha Dam is Dam, and the Mem is Mayim. So these mashkem is called mashkem. If it goes on an apple, orange juice spilled on an apple, and then a frog, dead frog, touches it doesn't become tumah. Because only this 7 mashkem is called mashkem, all others is not called mashkem. In Hilchos Vatara. Kim the Primogudim al Pshat in this Ran, when the Ran says this solution, Shar mashkem, ayoytz me'em lechoshiv mashkel is chayv alayim, so the Primogudim al Pshat, that it's not called mashkem. It's not called mashke. The whole reason why schiet is a problem, as I mentioned before, is because you are taking from a machel, you're making a mashke. If it's considered mashke, that's a problem. If it's not considered mashke, it's not a problem. That's why the Rashba, remember the Rashba in the Rosh says, why are you permitted shar mashkem, shar pyrus? Because shar pyrus, since it's oimed la achila, it's considered achila even after squeezing. So the concept is, it's not a mashke. Kim the Primogudim Malins Pshat Naran that Shar Mashke Bechlal, since in Vatara, it's not considered mashke. So therefore, it's not a problem. So let's take in our lives. Grapes and olives is a problem. Oranges is my Shar Mashke, Shar Pyrus. So according to the Ran, it's not a Daraisa. It's only the Rabunum. Where chaptes an afkimina, if it's a deraisa d'Rabunan, there's a couple of halachas, but what we spoke already is when it came out mashk meshazuvim. If you have an orange and you cut it, sliced it off, you sliced it in 8 pieces, and water came out, juice came out. So now, according to Don, it's not a problem. You can drink it because it's made lachila and it's oranges. It's not a problem. According to the Rosh, the Rashba, the Ran, Rasha, and the Bnei Shaya, that's a problem. Because of Kasov, chonish de hatayren. Because today's day we eat it. We squeeze it. But according to the Ram, that's not called mashk mishazuva. So therefore, it's not an issue. But Lamasa, the Achroinim do not want to go with this. First of all, because all the other Rishonim do not go with this svura. And also in the Ran, it's not 100% clear. We can learn Pshat in the Ran, by the way, that it doesn't look mashka the same as the Rosh says it. The same as the Rosh and the Rashba. It's not Chosur Mashke, because it's not the norm. That's the word. So we can't say as Ami Pshat. Shar Mashke is not the norm. So automatically, as the Rashba said, that Mashke Mayoitzem, since it's made for Achila, even the Mashke is Achila. We can learn some Pshat. A Primogudim, I learned other Pshat, and according to the Primogudim, would have been the Halacha like we just said before. But Lamasa, the Achroinim disagree with this Primogudim. In the Primogudim line, we see it's not 100% clear. Because he has himself one question. The Achroinim do not agree with it. And they ask, one of the questions the Primogudim line asks is, fine, it's not considered, you want to say it's not considered a mashka, but it's not considered oichel nicht. So the header why we are allowed is because oichel, it's still oichel, yeah? That's what we said before. Oichel, you didn't squeeze. But if there's no raya, it is a eichel. It's not a mashka, it's not a eichel. So, my chittais it's mitter. Just because it's not a mashka, because you say, in Hilchos Vatara, it's not a mashka. Okay, so you say it's not a mashka, but that doesn't make it a mashka. So, my chittais is a mitter. That's one of the reasons which they ask. The second reason is, the second question they ask is, the Gemara says, the Mishnah says, chalas davash. Person has the honeycomb, which is full of honey, honeycomb, full of honey. Zukt of them the Mishnah, if you squeezed it, beforehand, they used to make what scrape it is, yeah, okay, risk, not necessarily risk. There's 2 ways. There's one way how you take it off. You have a special way how you slice it off the honey, and you leave the comb. The other way is also you grind it, the honey with the comb. So the Mishnah said, "Chalas davash sheriskan, mikuro oichel lebesach oichel." So it's the Mishnah redt schwingen in der Schala. Wir müssen dort as the chalas davash mikuro oichel, and after begin it's still oichel. And even when you took it off, let's say even the second way when they took off the core of the honey, so the Mishnah still according oichel. So if according to this, the Prim Guda wants to say that the reason why what is considered mashke, because it's one of the 7 mashkes, Yashuchadam, one of the things is dvash. So dvash, we would have said now, it is basically a mashke. But the Mishnah says, Mekuro oichel, hashto oichel. So we see, we cannot connect Timah v'Tahara mit Hilchas Sechita. Different halachas. So therefore the Achronim do not want to go according to the Prima Gudam. So therefore we cannot take it. So therefore when it comes to oranges, we still have the other Rishonim, and squeezing oranges will be a Isser D'Oraisa today's day, because we are squeezing, there's the cider that we are squeezing oranges, and therefore it's going to be Osir. So again, let's just sum it off. Zaysim Vanuvim is Osir Min HaTorah, and it's still Osir Min HaTorah, because that's the norm which we do it. It's Osir Min HaTorah. Tutim V'Remoinim is in Mishnah Shtayit, it is going to be Osir Midrabonon. Yeah, nowadays could be it will not be Osir even with Rabban Ochel Nish, because nobody does it. There's not even a meat, maybe a meat, but I can put them. It's nish kan.
You sell in the store.
The what? Pomegranate. Yeah, I'm talking about tutim, blueberries, strawberries. This is what I'm saying. Pomegranate is no more. Is a thing. Pomegranate is a thing which goes. What?
Strawberry, banana.
Yeah, but that's like today. There's also yogurt, strawberry, banana. It's popular, but I don't think you have a squeezing it. You take the fruit itself and you grind it. It's a little different. It's not squeezing out, just taking out the juice.
If you put it in a food process, this is tchin.
Tuchen, there's a difference. It's not schit. That's tuchen. It's like taking grapes, putting in the whole grapes and grinding it and making a juice. You know, it's not schit. But in any case, pomegranate is a zach which it is the one. Again, tutim v'remoinim is probably it's a very rare thing to do. But we will see the Alter Rebbe Zukta Masa hamachmatu brucha al all the mashkim. We'll come to that also. That things which people do not do, even then you could do it even. But alamas insnemrun la alucha that the Alter Rebbe Zukta machmas that we should be machmar on anything. So again, that's tutim v'remoinim. Oranges comes Isser D'Oraisa. Grapefruit, although it's ganz popular, but it's not rav oil. We're going to see a minute legaba the amount. But I don't think so. I don't think a grapefruit should be a Isser D'Oraisa. But again, it's still a Isser D'Rabbanan. The only chilik is the guy for us is mashkum shezuvin. As I mentioned before, if you want to eat a grapefruit and you sliced it, came out some juice, it's not a problem to drink it on Shabbos because it's made for achila and it's not ribed alma. Now, again, we said before that tutu v'remoinim zug de mechaber also lesochter. Even it's only a drabonon, it's also lesochter. You cannot squeeze it. So all of them which came out for itself, anything which came out for itself, yeah. If it's not made for achila, for instance, yeah, then it's awesome. So it comes out in halacha. Zug nach roinem. If you say that mashken shezuven is a iser, mashken shezuven ma'atzme is a iser, the same will be also if I go. The Rishonim zugen this. Rishonim zugen as the Ramban and the Rashba. Since we say a mashke which came out by itself is aser, so the same will be if a goy did it. A goy did it, even he did it for himself. When he did it for you, that's versteht sich also gemacht haben von dir. But even when we have a klal in halacha in the Shabbos, when a goy does it for himself and he doesn't even know you, so then I could use it. A goy, for instance, opened a light for himself. I could sit and be in a hand from the malacha or whatever. It is a malacha for himself, and then he leaves or he doesn't know me. Then I could do malacha. Sucht aber the Rashba, that's good by all the malachas. When it comes to over here, when the Chazal Megas Mashkin Shazuvi, so let's assume a goy is not worse than Mashkin Shazuvi Ma'atzmoy. If it came out by itself, is also the same will be also if the goy squeeze it out. So therefore, it's also. So kimt us a mordige Sach. A person goes into a hotel. He's in a hotel for vacation. Shabbos in the morning, there's a breakfast which the hotel gives for all the people, and you want to drink a kosher diet in some frimme Yidden. You could eat bananas, you could buy, but you think, you see how the guy takes an orange, squeezes it, chaya, kosher, 100% kosher, no problem. Kashas is no problem, Maybe he used orange for Netzro, which is not. You don't have to be that far. But Pashtas, you see a guy squeezes oranges. Why shouldn't you take a glass of orange juice? Shabbos in the morning, doesn't get right and sit down, take a glass of oranges. So according to what we just looked. Duver car, clean, duver car. No. Okay. But okay, we'll give it to you. So you want to go and drink a glass of orange juice? Mitra daruser. Zung der Shoel mit Sauce. Loi me boye. He made it special for you. You are on the line. He made it special for you. That's no question. Ayidus macht am Ruch vadir is. But even if it didn't make it, you made it for the goyim. Or to make it for riba, the luch is a shechnuch, whatever is squeezed, or whatever a person does. If the most of the people are goyim, he made it for the most of the people for the rav. So therefore, it's not also. A person warms up a mikveh, and most of the guests are goyim. So he did it for especially pushed by a hotel. But okay, I once had an interesting shaila. I got hot water. I mentioned it, I think, by one of the shirim, that I had a machloikas with one other roof of Anash, that there was a big hotel. I'm digressing a minute. There was a big hotel, and there's a lot of goyim in that, and the Yidden made a program on a different building, and they had a separate kitchen too. But again, whatever something was missing, we will go to the big to the main kitchen and take things. And again, they have to give us an anikim because we pay for. So the question was, there was not hot water enough, and over there we don't have any hot water. Now, if we could go to the bigger dining room and take the hot water from the goyim. Is it permitted or is it not permitted? Yeah? Sicher permitted. Warum sagst du sicher? Aber es ist nicht aufgehört auf goyim. Aber der rechnest auch die Jiden, was ist dort. Aber viele sind auf goyim. Aber ich habe getroffen, ich meine, der Masham, das andere, ich habe mentioned one of the shiram. Wenn man gerade wegen Amir al-Lachri, als nicht pushet. Because since misst Tischl für jedem einen, heißt Wasser, when steht nicht genurig, as macht es für jedem einen, a person has a boot, that was he has a steam house. He has people did not have showers at home and bathtubs. So there was a boot house, there was a house of bath. So now he warms up hot water. Anybody's going to come. So most of the town is going. So he warms up. That means for Rav. Most of the town are Yid. It's gemach for Yid. Whenever there's a hotel which has to give for every person individually, so basically he does it for everybody individually. So nicht in steht es wurde steht. Ja, aber Chazal muss gasen. Ja, aber nicht wenn es ist ein Hotel in der Seite ist, man kommt immer geht. When we need, we come, we take.
I would say to the guy, when you made this water, is it for both buildings? Is it for everybody, or it's you made it for this building? One thing is, that building has, I made enough for here. Demas
kann sein, Mr. Gerecht. Aber if you wouldn't say it, we said they make for everybody who wants over here. Everybody's in the hotel. So therefore, it's not push. One of the Sukkah that whenever a schayv is to give for everyone, so kannst du sagen, mach farav. Abud, ich mach es. For wem mach ich es? People who come. The most of the people are going. So that means most of the going. But if I have to give for everyone individually, you're going to say that basically I've for Rav going? Practically they make for Roy. They don't make enough hot water for us. They could always make more. Fine. But that means, no, they make it for everyone who needs the water. And everybody there's bechifti geben. If I come and there's no hot water, they will make sure I have hot water. But I digressed a little bit. Hat kaum getan hat, als efshel so miyomig. Lamaase, we came to his bayati. Now again, if it's a separate hotel, even one hotel, but nobody go. But since it is the zachus, we come when he thinks we come to them, so automatically, if it's okay. So yeah, zach was tun b'shikla das, what?
They're not. It's not considered cooking that a goy cooks it. A goy is allowed to cook you
For himself, no, for himself or for goyim. If he did it for you, it's also in any case.
A goy cooks on regular the eggs for himself.
No, it's bishul akim. But al Shabbos is
it's in the water. Bishul water.
Bora is a shtukam bishul akim. So if he cooks for himself hot water and it goes away, you don't know him, then you could use that water.
Say in the house, cleanly, she's allowed to plug in the hot water thing.
For you?
Or turn it on.
No.
And she's allowed to be the one that presses the button.
For you? For Shabbos?
It's my house.
In Shabbos?
No, the regular day.
Oh, you have bishul akim.
Yeah.
But water there's no bishul akim. But water there's no bishul akim. No. Only the what is it called? The Ben Ish Chai in his shivas, he wants to say I don't think the Svardim even go. No, even the Svardim, I don't think in this particular thing, he wants to say he has a shiva like a coffee. Is coffee considered bishul akim or not? We Ashkenazim, coffee there's no bishul akim. There's no bishul akim. So if not, you cannot eat. You cannot drink in any gas station or an airplane. All of this you have. Now you still need to know how they wash the dishes. I'm not going into that thing. Starbucks, you have a problem. But let's say if you know a person who washes it separately, so bishul akim is what?
We have no problem. We have a scoff and that's it.
Yeah, that's right. That's no problem. You're right. See idea that we have biggest coffee over here. So B'mayla, let's go back to what I digressed. Let's go back. So therefore, if a guy in a hotel squeezed orange juice, yeah, so there will be a problem. Because as mashkum zuvim, it's lo good, but mashkum zuvim la'atzmoy. So therefore, you cannot drink it. Although it's kosher, everything is fine. Shabbos, you have a problem of mashkum zuvim la'atzmoy. What's doing in a hospital? The hospital made orange juice. The answer is sof kol sof is tzorich choila. In tzorich choila, a goy makes it in tzorich choila, but only he or she. The guest cannot drink it. The choila make drinken, but it's a choila. But the person is not a choila, cannot drink it. So we have to remember, it's not, all these things is nicht to put But again, it's only maskum shajuvi. I'm not talking about drinking orange juice in a hospital. I'm talking drinking orange juice which was squeezed in Shabbos, which in a hospital, I don't know if it's practical, but in hotels, it could be practical. Yeah.
A guy makes oil for himself.
What?
A guy squeezes olives for himself.
Okay. Well, the same.
You can't use it?
No. The mash im Shabbos. Mashkim shezuvin. That's exactly what we're talking about. This is exactly what I'm saying. Mashkim shezuvin. Mashkim shezuvin is also. Okay, so now we know already the klulam. Again, the klulam is whatever it is made. The ribba is made for squeezing is a deraisa. Whatever is not ribba, it's a miyat. But you doing it, then it is a derabonan, and it's not a problem when it is mashkum shezuva b'shaz when it's made for achila. Fine. So the Ramu says like this: in a place which over there in that place is the minik that you are squeezing a specific fruit. Yeah, let's say in Guyana, they squeeze guayabas. They took a pyra, which we don't squeeze guayabas. I don't think so. Anybody? We have it only dried ones. But Akapunim, if they have a fruit which in that place, what?
Guava.
There's a dried tropical food, which is, by the way, full of worms. Okay, so Zug the Ramu, B'mukim, again, let me say, quote you again the Lushan, which is important to hear. B'mukim shenei hagi lischit, Eise Pyrus, a place which they have a specific fire which they are squeezing. Lishtas maima machmas sumo itanik. They're not squeezing it because they need it for medication. That's not considered they're squeezing it. But they're doing it for drinking, for tanning, or when they're thirsty. Yeah, zukte, yeah. Dinoi b'mukamahi ketutim v'remoinim. So in that place, although in the whole world nobody is drinking, squeezing this, which we mentioned before, shar pyre, which nobody is squeezing it, is not an isser. Even in a Torah, even with the Rabbanan. So it becomes like tutim v'remoinim, which tutim v'remoinim, remember, is also with the Rabbanan. Since in this place people are squeezing it, then it becomes osir. Also you take the Rabbanan, that means it's the Rabbanan. Again, we have the Rafkimen. If it will come a mashkan shezuva me'atzmoy, and it's made for achila, it will be okay. And if it's not lachila, it's anusar. This is what the Ramah says.
Like in other places?
What?
What is it like in other places where they don't squeeze it?
So what is the halacha? The whole world which doesn't squeeze it. Can I squeeze it on Shabbos or not? This is exactly what we're going to address now. So the Lushan Ramah, Dinoi b'mukim shenahagi. Dinoi. What is the dinoi? That place is the din. In the Alter Rebbe says it clearly. Ketutim v'remoinim is usel l'sachta. That place is usel l'sachta. In America, nobody squeezes it. Let's say. L'choyre, but it's a problem. Also, it keeps us the Remu. Now, the Remu doesn't say. The Remu says mukim shenahagi lischit aizapayir. What does that mean? Rav anchayir kiloi. A miyat, what is the geder? So the Alter Rebbe writes, which the Alter Rebbe writes, the Lushan is, Kiven shekol anshe mekoyne oisem, uselische b'shabas b'oisem mukam, the Alter Rebbe's Lushan, Kiven shekol anshe mekoyne oisem kein b'chal. So by Pashas, the Alter Rebbe says, kol anshe mekoyne. But the Zungshon of them, the Achroinim, as anytime we say that in a place we do that, Rebbe killer, that's a kal and kolatori killer. So if you have a majority of the town or of the city, of the country, whatever it is, drinking it, so that's considered kiloi, although it's not kiloi, but ribeke kiloi. What is if only a miyat are drinking it? What is only a miyat drinking it? And it's a problem. But that's not Rav Anshe Mekoyman. Let me go on the scenario. What is, so we spoke now, the Remu talks, what does the Remu talk? That we have a place, the whole world doesn't squeeze it. Yeah? Let's say, let's take a push to Mesken Verstein Kluder. Kiwi, there's kiwi drink? I don't think.
Kiwi.
No, let me take something which is not normal to squeeze. Yeah? What is not normal to squeeze? Nectarines. Okay, sure. Nectarines. Nectarines not normal. Yeah. Now you have a town in Canada or a place in Canada which over there most of the people are squeezing. Zug the Remu, that's awesome. That place is awesome. The whole world is not a problem. Now let's go a different scenario. The whole world doesn't squeeze nectarines, but in the whole world, every country in the world, there are a miyat people which do it. So that means miyat oilam, riba oilam doesn't squeeze it. Miyat oilam squeeze it. So again, if it's a miyat oilam, then we said before, it's not a problem. But remit oilam with the whole world. What is them as dalucha? That means it's popular today's day that people are drinking carrot juice. Yeah. Now, majority of the oilam drinks carrot juice, but it's a thing which all over the world you have a miyat people. So what is dalucha in such a case? So we see some achlokas tishon the mechaber and the remo. According to the mechaber, the Mechaber got noch a step. The Mechaber says, if there is a minority, if there is a place, like, let's go back to the motion. Nectarines, you said? Nectarines, it is a thing which the whole world they don't squeeze. But in Canada, you have a majority which squeezes. Is it also Pashas the Remu says? It's also only that place. Mokumahir, remember? The lotion which I gave you. Anshe Mekoyim is also. The Mechaber Bes Yosef holds if there is a place which is a majority, which in that place they eat it, the ganze Welt wird usar. That means since you have a place which over there the majority are squeezing it, the whole world is anus. Which Kamif the Remu doesn't agree with it. What?
How would you know? Maybe there's a country somewhere that there's a majority. You have to start figuring out every food.
Okay, so again, a person doesn't know. Then I don't know. Then smitter. Now we have no problem. There's AI. There's Google. You Google it. What?
So if everybody knows that in Hawaii they drink pineapple juice and now
Yes, exactly. Coconut juice, pineapple juice, all these things are minority, but the whole world drinks it. So according to the Machaber, if in the one Medina the majority are drinking it, it wird us for the ganze Welt. The Remu clearly doesn't say like that. The Remu disagree with him. And the Remu says clearly that in that place is also. The whole world is the Shosser. But the whole world is only a minority. The whole world is only a minority. So therefore it's not a problem. The Machaber holds one way, the Remu holds the other way. Now we pass it like the Remu. We pass it the Remu. That's mitter. So the Chroin want to tell that the same will be also when you have the whole world, there are coconut juice which people are drinking. But it's a minority. Which over here they don't talk. But at Kapunam, we see as the selbe concept. According to the Machaber, it will be a problem. Because again, since you have in the whole world drinkminus, so therefore, it's a problem. It's a problem. According to the Mu, no. As long as it's not a majority, so it's not an issue. It's not a problem.
The whole world is a majority, but there's one country that nobody drinks it.
The what? No, that's for sure. That's for sure. As Megaita Avada, Megaita Rabba.
Why is it a problem with the Mechaber if everywhere in the world is a miyat? There's no place that Mechaber is mashma. There's one place that's a rov, mach the kviyas for them. But if the whole world is a miyat,
aber sagt wir bald aber Rafa Oilem ist squeezing us. Das will er sagen. Will ein Rafa kommen in der Welt. Ja.
According to the Ramah, it's mutter even for the person that drinks it, if you're part of that meal.
According to?
The Ramah.
No, for you yourself.
Yeah, I drink nectarine juice, but I'm the only guy in the city.
you're not chumah.
No.
So does my own chomer become usher to me, even though for everyone else it's allowed?
Ob die allein?
Yeah, because they're... I'm sure. Yeah.
Na, ich verstehe die Question. Ich trachte gesehen der Schmiss. Lass mich trachten, was ich gesehen. Ob ich allein, dachte ich mir, dass der Machab, lass mich alter etwas sehr clearly, als von dem Mensch allein,
People are shooting out people, they squeeze things out.
ja, you yourself, sagt der alter Rebbe clear, Zanusser.
You're not allowed.
You're Zanusser, weil die Minute, was, kol mich sagt er, Shem Mashke, me eles machshaftoi, lias Shem Mashkelein, mit divres Safran. I know me motle dat als Chaludin.
I think the lashon you read was like you read the Seichel, which would be very applicable nowadays because places maybe aren't Seichel. We import a lot of
Very, very good. In the contemporary Chroim, read make the Shala. As a Shala, even more. You have one company who makes orange juice in the whole world. Let's assume Tropicano makes all orange juice. It's only in America. But everybody, they drink it all over. Es ist nicht stuhlig, wie man macht das. Oiba, du sie sagst, sorgt in la Achille, de la Maschke. The ganze ribbelige Oilem trinken as la Maschke. So that is a thing which is a Maschke. Es ist nicht stuhlig, wo you are squeezing it. Because again, not everybody was squeezing. Oh, there was also company then or wherever. Then the kid said, what it means, it's a drink which Rav Oilem sochtim lashtia means it is a drinkable Maschke. You squeeze it.
some places. I understand what he said, but some places it's like, people try like cultures from other different places, and these days that's what everybody does. So all these juices you mentioned, I don't know, like nectarines, you could buy the Israeli stuff, I don't know, jump and whatever they have, all of them, you buy them here, but maybe no one in America ever squeezed into nectarine in their life.
Yeah, but they drink it.
Yeah.
Again, drinking means, this is exactly what I'm saying. What? Machashav zach, exactly.
One was my first one, so just start to become if we are
Tiny pieces of
So Lamasa B'Poil, in our lives, again, going back since you brought up this question, in our lives, the juices which the grocery companies make, since it became a commercial item, and they delivered this all over. So automatically, the juices became a thing which is all over. All over goes in our ganze Welt. So although maybe it's made over here, but the whole world is basically using this and drinking that. So therefore, today's day is Bechlal, arangekimen as a mizach, that is probably most of the pirates, except you have a pirate which nobody was, carob juice. I don't know if there's even 5 people who drink carob juice, only the people who are sick in the stomach and in the head. But other than that, people are not. But other than juices, which since today's days everything became commercialized, and you have one person has to make a how does it no, he has to make market. So has to market it properly. I just saw somebody send me a clip of a sugar. A marketer says how he started marketing sugar, and you see thousands of people changed to that sugar because it's healthy. He says, I took the same sugar, instead of writing pure sugar, I wrote grown sugar. A few words he changed. He put a picture of a tree, green tree. So he made fun as the same sugar which I took, and I marketed on the label a different, and it became healthy. So again, today's day everything is marketing, and alles guide. So lamaase bechol oifen. Ich will stam fahren guide warten to do. So we'll have to deal with it next year. But lamaase kimt aus. The Alter Rebbe sucht hamachmer. Aber soll machmer sein. You shouldn't squeeze. Weil some of them machlokes. Man unkimt zu den Kindern. Aber bechol just I don't want you to sleep the next week. Lamaase in them machmer. Alle shar, alle pirates. Machmer. Aber soll nicht squeezen. So lamaase bepoil mamash. We are machmer, nectar, and all those things. If a person wants to squeeze it for himself, bechol oifen, or that in the machmer, bepoil the machmer. Al Rebbe zok tuvul of brucha, aber again, one of the reasons is also bechal. By instance, wird stärker. Al Rebbe drinkt them because in that time it wasn't like, but once it becomes stronger, because it's a lot of it becomes a meat in the whole world. They still have a machaber, which all the Remudas agree, has the machaber, which says that it is a problem. So akapunim, we are not going to be soichet anything. And there's a lot of ramifications to halacha, which is practical. I'm not talking about before I mentioned about orange juice. But we'll come to other practical things. We have lemons and other things which we'll see, which has practical ramifications of this halacha schiita. It's not so poshet, nobody should think it's not relevant today's days. It's poshet nagay laluch lamasa, as we're going to see eventually in the Hemshech Hashirim.